Hey guys, I had an idea for a video. A while back I put a comment on an ultralight Facebook group and I got a lot of really good responses. People thought it was a great idea and I kind of thought it was something a lot of people did. So it kind of gave me the idea to share a lot of these little things that I have that I've picked up from other people along the way, and I wanted to share them with you guys. So the first one was the one that I had shared the comment about, which is my pillow leash. So all it is I cut off the torso of a t-shirt, an old worn out t-shirt, and I just put it over the head of my sleeping pad, and then I slide my pillow up underneath it. And if you're curious what pillow I use the Hyperlight Mountain Gear Stuff Sack pillow. The other one is fairy lights. They're just little lights. It's a string of lights. Here, hang on. Bloop. And they turn on, and they don't weigh much. This whole thing, 14 grams, not even an ounce. And I just string them up inside my tent, and it's good lighting. This is the Montbell Crushable Lantern. All I do is, it's got a little bungee right there, and I take my headlamp, I put it in there, and turn it on, and it's got a little piece of reflector on the bottom, and it turns my headlamp into a tent lamp. This is a small OP sack, the odor-proof bag, and I keep all my medications and things I might need inside my tent, like coffee for the morning. It might have smells to it, and I just keep it right here in this thing, so that way I can have it in my tent. I don't have to worry about it attracting animals. Toothpaste tablets. These things are so cool. You don't have to bring a whole entire little travel thing of toothpaste just to have one little squirt on your toothbrush. Toothpaste tablets, you just bring how many you need for that trip, and that's it. They weigh hardly anything. I've got, what were they doing?
A train.
Waving.
A train?
A train of wave.
Okay, the next thing is, like a lot of backpackers, they'll carry that little tiny Victorinox knife, and the thing is, it's got a little pair of scissors on it. And I started realizing that's the only thing I use on it. I never use the knife, I only use the scissors. So I decided, why am I carrying this thing around for a little tiny pair of scissors? Instead, I got an actual legit pair of scissors. They just open up and doop, and it's an actual pair of scissors. I've cut greenbrier that's in the way of my tent and everything with them. They're great. And all of these things, if you go to the description at the bottom of the video, I'm going to post a link for all of these things. The other thing is safety pins. You guys, these things, they'll fix clothing. I've repaired a zipper pull on a tent with it. I've repaired a stove with it, the little handle for turning on the gas. It broke on someone's stove. We just plopped a safety pin in there, and it worked great. The other thing is also you can put them on the back of your pack to hang wet socks and stuff so they can dry while you hike. These are the most awesome fire starters ever. This thing weighs 5 grams and will burn for 10 minutes. And if you need a longer fire, because if somehow you still haven't managed to get a fire started in 10 minutes, just throw another one in and 10 grams. Oh. Another thing that I do is more for sleeping, and I have some lower back issues, and also sometimes my feet are a little bit swollen from hiking. So I take my empty backpack and I stick it up under the foot of my sleeping pad, and that helps elevate my feet. It takes tension off my lower back. But another thing that can happen with that, since I have a single wall duplex tent, the condensation on the inside of it can sometimes get up on my foot box. So what I do is I take my raincoat and then I just slide it over the end of my foot box, and it helps protect it from getting wet. Now, something to keep in mind is that you're also making heat that's coming out from your down. If you have a light hard gear jacket like what I have, which is non-breathable, you're going to need to open those pit zips, otherwise your own condensation is going to make your foot box wet. All right, it's time to talk about pooping. All right, so my first thing is my trowel. I take my spare duct tape and I wrap it around the handle of my trowel. If you have one of these ones that are made of like sheet metal, if you wrap your duct tape around the handle of it, it keeps it from hurting your hand when you're trying to dig into some tough ground. Hi, I'm Jet Girl, and I got lost while going to the bathroom. Yep, it was late at night, and I left my tent to go to the bathroom, and when I came back, I kept walking and walking, and I couldn't find my tent. So one of the things that I've come up with first was the bathroom bracelet. It's just a hair tie. I got a little squeeze light on it, and a whistle. And I just wear it around my wrist. And you guys, don't put this on the wrist for the hand you wipe with. You don't want poop on your whistle and then put it in your mouth. Ugh. One of the things I did to keep this from happening again was I made a little bit of a modification to my duplex. The duplex comes with guy lines that do not reflect. So I replaced some of my guy lines with reflective material. So now I can actually see my tent when I scan across it with my headlamp. And then I also never leave my tent without turning those fairy lights on. Remember the fairy lights we talked about? I turn them on. And I can always find my way back to my tent. This is the ThermaCare menstrual relief pads. But I use them as a heater. So you have the hot hands. They weigh 1.3 ounce. These are 1.2 ounce. So it's a little bit lighter and it covers much more area. So you can see the picture of the chick with it in her underwear. You see it covers a lot more area. So a lot of times, like we talked about my lower back, I'll put it on my lower back. You don't stick these to your skin though, stick them to your clothing. And it covers a lot more area and it helps keep you really warm. And it weighs a little bit less than the pair of hot hands. Also, on the hot hands, when you're done with them, you don't have to pack out the contents of it. It is okay to tear these things open and dump it. Usually I'll try and dump it in a fire ring, but if that's not available, I'll just kind of scatter it out in the area. So usually on the very last night of a hike, I'll take one home with me and I spread it in my garden because it's a great soil amendment. But also don't forget, use good LNT and dump the contents out, but pack out that paper shell. All right, you guys, thank you for joining me on this and we will see you on the next video. Bye. Thank you, Miss Wanda.
Oh, you're welcome.